With the country and the world in general still in shock from the events of the past 2 weeks, the WWF outside of now facing a new reality in terms of security measures as a worldwide touring company, had a new WWF champion for the first time since WrestleMania 17 influenced by the circumstances, with Kurt Angle beating Steve Austin to end his 6-month run with the belt in front of an hometown crowd in Pittsburgh, with the company also said to take direct action coming off it in the near future, with Linda McMahon in an interview with the New York Times during the week confirming that the company is going to officially change the name of its flagship program from Raw is War back to WWF Raw, set to end the 4-plus-year run of the name which first debuted in March 1997, with the company trying to fight back against the peaking Nitro in the Monday Night Wars, while also changing the name of the upcoming December pay-per-view from Armageddon, which took place in the past 2 years, as Raw, which started with a 6-man tag match of Taker, Kane and Bradshaw against the Dudleys and Test, set up a show-long angle from the start, building anticipation for Austin's reaction to the title loss when he gets to the building, with a camera in the parking lot waiting for his arrival throughout the night. Raw continued with the follow-up of last night's pay-per-view, jumping over 600,000 viewers to a 4.3 rating, with Shane McMahon hyping Austin's arrival with a videotape proving that he didn't lose the title, blaming Earl Hebner for counting the Fall in the Rock and Angle matches to cost the Alliance both titles, followed by Stephanie coming and saying that one person stood out last night as a leader, with Rob Van Dam going over Chris Jericho, as a result giving Van Dam a WCW title shot to book a massive main event for tonight with the first Rock vs RVD match, while minutes later Shane countered it by giving Booker a title shot against Kurt Angle to set up the 2 top matches of the night. After the talked about Smackdown tribute show on September 13 while being moved to Tuesday a week earlier, the first regular Smackdown show in its normal 8 to 10 p.m. Thursday time slot since August 30 took place last Thursday night, but even then under unique circumstances, with the show going head-to-head in its second 9 to 10 p.m. hour against President Bush's speech, which did over 82 million viewers across all major networks, with Smackdown coming 3 days from the Unforgiven pay-per-view focused mainly on the build-up to the 2 main event title matches, even going against huge competition, jumped from last week's 3.7 to a strong 3.9 rating, with JR in a conference call last Thursday commenting on the Raw and Smackdown numbers of the past week, which saw both shows' rating increasing even under the unique circumstances, saying that he has been amazed at how well the ratings held up in the past week, while also updating on the eventual plan to split the roster to 2 exclusive entities, with the split now targeted for early 2002, saying that the 2 shows would have a different look and announcers along with potentially different writing crews to create 2 separate TV products, with one of the biggest moves towards the split would start next week, with the WWF House Show Road schedule set to split into 2 crews, with one being the A Tour to work the major markets and the big buildings, while the B Tour would work the smaller venues, coming in a tough time for arena crowds after the events of the past several weeks, with tickets being put on sale for the first week of October, with the move said to increase the company's number of shows to counter the per-show attendance drop while giving the majority of the now massive talent roster consistent spots on the cards, until the end goal and the ideal scenario of eventually running 2 8 tours when the roster splits equally to have equal drawing star power on both crews, as Raw's second hour opened with new WWF Champion Kurt Angle coming out to a big ovation and defending the title as a babyface for the first time against Booker, crossing over 2 quarters into 10 p.m., going 9 minutes, with Angle going over clean with the ankle lock to retain the title in the first of the 2 announced big title matches of the night, gaining over 600,000 viewers to the highest rated full quarter of the night 4.8 rating. Minutes after the Angle Booker match, the WWF attempted to finally stop the unexplainable viewing pattern in the second hour over the past month, putting on Chris Jericho vs. Christian for the IC title right after, with the show again unable to stop the slide seen every quarter from 10:15 p.m. gradually dropping throughout the hour, with a 4.6 for Jericho vs. Christian and the continuation of the show-long angle of Van Dam being positioned as the potential new leader of the alliance to continue to build the tension with Austin, followed by a 4.5 for Kanyon vs. Matt Hardy going 4 minutes and a quarter, also seeing the return from injury of Dallas Page in a new character playing off his real-life reputation coming off his Positively Page book released last year, and with Page returning, the WWF also saw a WCW-related departure on the night, with Chronic minutes after arriving to the building for Raw quitting the company after being told that they need to work off their ring rust and get their timing back at the developmental territory after their pay-per-view performance last night, ending up with them deciding to instead walk to end their run with the company after one match. Rock made his first appearance on the night at 10:41 p.m. a day after going over Booker and Shane in the Unforgiven handicap match to retain the WCW title and close out his return program, with him now said to move on to a new opponent before eventually getting to the planned rematch against Austin, originally set for SummerSlam while now potentially targeted for Survivor Series, hyping him facing RVD for the first time in the match coming next, while warning Stephanie about interfering in the match with her turning 25 on the night before singing her a classic birthday song to close the promo, with Austin yet to arrive to the building, with JR and Heyman continuing with the bait and switch, still promoting Austin's possible arrival even minutes before the Rock Van Dam main event, with Raw's final quarter while the cameras are still tracking the parking lot in Columbus, starting with X-Pac vs. Regal going 3 minutes. The Rock and Rob Van Dam made their entrances 4 minutes from the top of the hour for the first time ever main event, being hyped by JR throughout the hour as one of the biggest matches in Raw history, with the match besides both facing off for the first time also having the unique dynamic of currently being perhaps the two hottest performers in the company in terms of crowd reactions, with the match going 8 minutes to cross into the 6-minute overrun, jumping over 800,000 viewers to the peak of the Night 5 rating, and after seeing its recent viewership pattern in the second hour routinely sliding throughout in the past month, the big attraction of the first Rock vs. Van Dam match saw Raw peaking in the main event for the first time in over a month, seeing the match going back and forth with the crowd chanting for both wrestlers throughout, with Rock having the match won with a sharpshooter to set up Stephanie's interference, giving Van Dam an out for the finish before Rock hit the rock bottom to retain the title, as Raw going against mega competition on television on the night, not only from the usual football competition in the fall season but also several highly rated shows all debuting on the same night to combine for a 67 rating, holding relatively strong with a 4.5 overall rating.